So we welcome to the Real Review this morning the guys from John Duval Wines, John and Tim Duval. Tim is the son of John, of course, and we congratulate them on being one of our top wineries of the year at the Real Review for the year 2022. And well done, guys, and thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for the accolade. We really appreciate it.
Well, we were just saying that we had one of your wines last night at a masterclass for the Real Review. It was the 2018 version Eligo, which was a spectacular wine. And perhaps we could start off by you telling us a bit about where the fruit comes from for that wine, because it's all a little, you don't talk too much about where the fruit sourcing is, and I suspect that it does move around a fair bit.
It does a little bit, but I think that the theme is it's picking the best sections of our best vineyards, both in Eden Valley and Barossa Valley. Obviously, we'd expect a little bit more restrained power coming out of the Barossa Valley, but we really like the attribute that Eden Valley gives as a component, sort of normally around that 30-40% mark, although in the 18, actually, it was Eden Valley predominant.
Yeah, the 18 was the first year that it was dominant Eden Valley. It was 70% Eden Valley, 30% Barossa Valley. So I think that just was testament to our thoughts on the 18 vintage, which we just thought was one of the best years from Eden Valley that certainly I'd seen in your living memory.
No, great year. And we love what the Eden Valley does in terms of its more aromatic expression of Shiraz. We love the acidity, we love the elegance, and the style of tannins as well.
Yeah, the more I taste 18s, the more I think they're a great vintage. And we didn't make a big fuss about them at the time, but I think that as they've grown, with a bit of time in the bottle, they're better and better.
Definitely love the 18s. They've just got a lovely textural quality to them that I think it's going to stand them really well in the cellar.
So do you guys actually own vineyards?
No, we don't. I mean, I sort of half jokingly say after 29 years for Penfolds, I know where the good vineyards are. Not that I've got access to exactly the same vineyards as I did when I was at Penfolds, but generally in that areas, I know where to look, and that's stood us in good stead.
I guess we're lucky that we get to work with some of these, sometimes 6th or 7th generation family growers who know their patch of dirt pretty well. So that's a real honour and a privilege for us to be able to work with some of these historical sites. Whereas if we'd planted some of our own vineyards more recently, obviously we wouldn't have that age of material to work with as well.
Well, I guess there's arguments to and fro whether it's good to own vineyards or not. And various sort of big companies over the years have gone through their phases of selling vineyards and then a few years later buying them again. It's all very amusing to the observer. But you guys, I suspect, are in a position where you have great relationships with growers, and you're not likely to lose a great grower like some new startup people might.
No, I think we're very lucky that I've spent, next vintage will be my 50th vintage in the Barossa. So I know a lot of people, and what I was saying before, we know the areas that particularly suit our style as well, which I think is important. And people think that you've got instant access and be able to purchase a 100-year-old vineyard. It's not the case at all. They're very tightly held within the families of the Barossa.
And tell me what's going to happen with when your dad finally retires, Tim. Are you going to change the brand to Tim Duval Wines?
Oh, well, I don't think I'm going to be getting rid of him anytime soon. It's, I think, one of those things. It's just such an important part of the lifestyle, and being part of working with Dad is a real privilege for me. And if I'm certainly not going to be changing the label or anything dramatic. I think it's more a gradual evolution rather than revolution, which was very much, I think, Dad's philosophy when he was at Penfolds. It was, you're constantly trying to find gradual improvement. You're not looking to radically change and reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, I'm not worried at all, Huon. We're pretty much on the same page, and we really enjoy working together.
Is there anything coming up in the future that you'd like to tell us about what your plans are? I'm sure you've got something interesting in the wings.
Yeah, well, I guess in the last few years we've been adding, I think, carefully to the range with a few new releases. There was that Integro, which was our kind of top-end Cabernet Shiraz, which we've been really excited about from the 17 and 18 vintages. And I think in the years where Cabernet works well in the cooler years, I think there's certainly potential for that wine to be a really icon in our range. And then the Concilio range, that kind of more on-premise, early release, high drinkability style, I think is really exciting for us too. We've always had a really core range of serious and structured reds, but to have things that are approachable as really young expressions is really exciting for us too.
I think you've touched on the wine that is your top wine, your top priced wine. It's a Cabernet Shiraz blend, and there's been a trend, I think, in recent years for various wineries in the Barossa to do this, to float the Cabernet Shiraz blend as their icon wine. What is it about those blends that's so special? And I tend to agree with you that they are special, but it's an interesting trend, isn't it?
Yeah, what really took me by surprise when I first started sourcing the Grenache from the 1858 planted Eden Valley Grenache vineyard, there was a small patch of Cabernet as well, and some of that goes right back. We don't know exactly how old it is, but it's certainly well before 1900 planting. And again, it was such a great expression of Cabernet in the good years that I thought, well, it was a Monty, we had to make some.
So that's how that wine began.
Yeah, and I think stylistically, I think Dad's philosophy is that maybe not every year for Barossa is going to be a great Cabernet year, but when we get the years that really sing, that's when we want to celebrate and highlight these really special patches. So it's a really historic site. It's an amazing vineyard. And I think conditions aligned for that 17 and 18 and allowed us to release that Integro. And it certainly won't be every year, but I think we'll put our money where our mouth is in the great years and release that wine.
And it gives us a chance to make that what a lot of people refer to the classic Australian blend of Cabernet Shiraz. I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful Cabernet. I'm really super impressed. But just that little bit, around 10% of Shiraz, just helps fill out the palate just for the balance of the wine, but still keeping in that lovely, elegant vein.
Now, you guys are members of the Artisans of the Barossa. Am I right in saying you don't have your own cellar door, that you use the Artisan cellar door as your cellar door?
Yeah, so I guess it's probably more than just an outsourcing. Where I guess owners, shareholders, and we run the Artisans collectively. So it's been a really exciting time for us because we opened up a brand new facility in October last year. So yeah, a great place is a bit of a one-stop shop in Barossa where you can try across the 8 small family wineries that are involved. Great new restaurant, wonderful tasting options, private rooms, and a big lawn area for the kids to run around too. So I think hopefully a must visit when you get to the Barossa. Definitely,
it'll be on my top of my list of places to visit when I next come to the Barossa. The old cellar door was pretty good, but I gather the new one is even better. So fantastic. Well done. Thanks, guys. Tim and John Duval from John Duval Wines in the Barossa, who are among our top wineries of the year for the Real Review for 2022. Congratulations and thanks for coming today. And we look forward to catching up with you at the exhibitions. Cheers.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Huon.
Thanks, Huon.